Uh, Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm watching the channel where you can, if you're lucky, not like me, where you can buy clothes and things. And I watch all these models and young girls and older ones, and they're living this tremendously good life. I turn on the TV and I have all this in front of me vacations, boats, cars, where they built homes, especially here in Roanoke, for the homeless. And they've given food. Oh, they make. There's no way to explain the pain, suffering, and illegal acts that have been done. And I'm going to turn that off right now to me and are still being done. Over the years since I came here and before, all the laws that were broken and crimes against me and my children. They never stopped. I came here. I even lived on top of the mountain in the snow and sleet and almost froze. They were told not to help me. It kept me begging social services to treat me like at least a tiny bit of a human being. They were told not to in threat of their jobs. And the last time that I spoke with, and I'm almost afraid to say it because then, this is weird if you were ever walking in my shoes to find out how things really are. If you're without power and the crimes are done against you and the powers that be are on, you have to be on their side or, well, weren't on my side anyway, I find out now. Anyway, I'm almost afraid to put anything up. It happened till you get it into a court of law. It doesn't matter. And if you don't have the press telling it and backing you up to a degree, which this is the whole thing, the very people that control it, the Illuminati, helped kidnap me back in 41 at age 2. I was a baby. Brought me into a hellhole in this country where my money rents some money. Moulton, Alabama's right 40 miles, 45 miles is the most from Huntsville, where they put NASA, your space program that you say you created. No, you didn't. My country in Germany paid for it. Werner von Braun was brought over here, a deal made to keep me alive, quite frankly. And this is the other treaties and things that were used rather than just money to keep me alive. The pain and suffering done to me and my sons, who are heirs after me, is unbelievable and ongoing in front of the world. And I want to add again here, I put up yesterday something very important. Letter from Jack Hartsfield, who was FBI. We're trying to cover his newspaper reporter, and he saved my life. He and Salvador, well, for God's sake, Sal Vizzini, okay. He was FBI and even wrote a book, but he was older when he came to Huntsville in 80, or 81, 80, I guess. That's when I was almost killed and taken across the state line and finally got the lab work done that came, I was sent to another state, not where it was supposed to be sent. Anyway, I got a hold of it. My ex-husband or husband, whoever the heck he is, got it and gave it to me. One thing he did, other than taking my apartment, and his sister got me out of town and promised me she would help get me and my sons out of Atlanta and out there, and maybe things would settle down and work out. I'd written a book about mind control, Tesla files, how you can cure an illness or create it, and Center for Disease Control, which, oh boy. And paid a price for just being born who I am. And I'm going to say this. First of all, when I went to work in the shape I was in 1980, middle of May, I'd almost been killed, and it took a long time just to be able to not scream at what they had done to me. I didn't heal overnight, or even in 2 or 3 years. So, anyway, I'm working for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, Madison County, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, the Space Center. course, now then Houston's supposed to be, Texas. Oh, I was rereading a letter, and most of them have been stolen, all but 4, from Jack Hartsfield, the reporter I mentioned, FBI agent, saved my life. In it was dated September the 17th. If I'm not mistaken, that's the day I became a candidate in '83 and flown out to Larry Flint's a couple of days later. Well, October the 1st. Because Flint had been shot by a program shooter in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book in Marietta, 78, 76. I got a letter from the FBI June the 23rd, my dad's birthday, by the way, but this is in 79. Ongoing investigation, national security involved. Well, it's been an ongoing into the pain and laws broken against me and my children that are unspeakable. While I tell you what's being done in this country to some of you. You hate me, number one, because you consider me a intruder. My father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson, a double married Wallace. My father was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Irish American from Ireland, and then my great grandmother had roots to Holland and well, I have to look back and see, Poland, I believe. Anyway, the Irish O'Keefes lived in Madison, Wisconsin. And my mom was a school teacher. They had money. They were in politics, but they were drained of theirs too and all this mess. My father loved my mom. He wouldn't take orders from your Illuminati, your global government. And the Church of England got in on it. I don't know if my mom was Catholic or not, but my father loved her and he married her. And they remained married and alive October the 20th of '86 when I came to Roanoke, Virginia. Well, guess how old they were then. My mom was 40 when she had me. My father was 45, I believe, give or take a year there. So I want to make this point here very clear. The day I was born, my father had made arrangements when they were forcing him out, whether it's because my mom was Catholic or, quote, they considered her a commoner, or, quote, the powers that be could not control my father, so they took him down. Even had him marrying an American spy and a double, one of the doubles, buried at Frogmore, Windsor. How's that? Close to where Meghan and Harry live. How's that? Now that I've lost my train of thought, though, going back and forth, and I really am 80 years old, I'm feeling it. I really have lost my train of thought now. Somebody will make something out of this. I think I have. Anyway, the media, let me just jump to this. The media here has always known this since I came here and before, who I am. I mean, they all do. Even your networks, of course they do. Why have they never told the truth about your mind control murders? You don't hear Congress telling about it. They're going to dump Trump. They can't, they do not want me to live to get up before a congressional committee where you have to tell it and the right questions are asked. They don't want it. Your Congress has lied to you all this year, but you don't seem to care. You hate my guts. I'm telling about a kidnapping and taking down of a monarch. And my father, and he married an American, a great lady. You got him marrying Wallace Simpson, a spy, American spy. I mean, all these things. And if you ever had to take a graphic look at what's been done to me and my children here in this country while my parents went through hell, taken down stripped of everything. Oh, the torture involved is unreal. But I told you, Congress has mentioned nothing about this. The last time they had MK Ultra before Congress, maybe the only time was in '53, I believe. Yeah, and give them a slap on the wrist. Well, who should you go after? Who's not doing the job? Who should you dump? Who should you take out? That's your U.S. Congress. But you'd have to go way back, unless you don't care about me, which obviously that's the point, about my kidnapping, about what you did to your best friends, the Brits. Excuse me, I just had a bite to eat. And, yeah, when you took down my father, however you want to relate this to the Bible, I didn't until I got so far into it, and I was telling about placing chips in people, root canals, programming them to commit any act. So this whole thing about you can't program people to do what they don't want to do, well, that's a friggin' lie. So where are all your doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists and friggin' social workers and all of this that you aren't hearing this? You're hearing it from me and some people who are copying what I've said, and now I understand. Anyway, where am I going from here on it? It's your Congress has told you nothing. They're wanting to get Trump out of the way. I don't know. Trump to me is honest. I think I hope he does what he says he'll do. Someone told me he would tell all this about me, my dad, etc. Mind control. By the way, the book that I was writing, I had worked for doctors. That's what I did, and I found out, well, people were dying, and they were dying in patterns, and it surrounded me, a lot of it. But I'm so tired. I'm going to have to stop. I don't know if they'll let me put any videos up there. They do or they don't. It's too bad you tell the truth, you know. When you tell the truth about how they treat you, they hate your guts. I'm talking about it's time for me to move on somewhere. Trouble is, they're all still having a good time because they've lied and kept the truth from being told or into court or anything. So I'll get down to this. I wanted to know about the, if anybody can find out, in the letter I read about from Jack, one of the four that was left, Jerry Gillespie was the, I hope this doesn't go out, the personnel director for Madison County, I guess. And he hired me. Well, the district attorney did too. They all knew I was being hired. In mid-May, after that I was almost killed in the condition I was in, they hired me and did a background check. Now then, about 3 months later, Jerry Gillespie is shot dead in front of his home at, I believe it was at night. He was in the middle of the street. If I'm not mistaken, whoever owns the house across from me is very important in all this, and not the good guy. I don't think. I don't know how to find out now. It was in the paper when he was shot and killed, and it was midsummer, I believe, of 80. I know it was about that time, a month prior or after. I don't know if it's John Sparkman, the old senator, but for my own, you can tie these things together so easy, and then people say, well, come on here and call me a liar. Well, I haven't proven anything. My God in heaven, the reason they're still doing stuff to me today that I'm not going to put up at the moment, I've tried to. I'm getting into a corner, and I've made the right decisions. These people could also, which you get doctors involved in it, can say I'm not making the right decisions. Of course, yes, I am. The fact is, you can't get any of the things happening to me into court of law, and that's this whole thing. So someone can sit back and pretend I'm doing wrong when they're not telling the background on how I make my decisions and why. So they can literally do the same thing to me now that they were doing all along, way back when I started writing the book in 76 and before then. So anyway, it's very hard to take to watch the NBC affiliate here this morning say Elizabeth showed the pictures of Easter and all this, and Harry without Meghan. I guess she's about to have the baby. and leave out the fact they've got the real queen here from the day I was born. The day I was born, because my father made way, signed proper papers, had them sign everything, that I'm Victoria II, the heir, legal heir to the British Crown, and I was baptized and the christened, um, proper papers, everything. So I was the queen the minute I was born. And they're sitting up there, all the press, and telling all the stuff about Elizabeth and the royal family, which is a fake and a bunch of crooks and killers. As I sit here, and my children, God help them be alive, my father still lied about and in such horrible ways, and my mom just deleted. And this is the land of the free and home of the brave. And sitting up here and taking orders from the Illuminati, which the press works for, and promoting Elizabeth and this whole family that work for the Illuminati, who are fakes and frauds and war criminals. And I got a feeling I'm talking into an empty tape here. I am the real monarch. I am the longest reigning. Granted that I've been kidnapped and I can't get home and live in my castles and have the clothes I should have and the money, but most of all, try to help my country. Look at it. Look at what has happened to everything now. To Australia, to New Zealand, I'm the one telling you about the mind control murders. The Aussie was programmed too to do the shootings in New Zealand. But then your press isn't telling you any of this. They're calling Elizabeth the longest reigning monarch and telling all about her and showing the pictures. And do you think they'll tell anything about me? If they did, it would be a friggin' lie.